everybody, welcome to Bish's RV. We're actually right up here, right next to the highway today, so we might hear a little bit of road noise or some Jake braking from a semi. But behind us is one of the smallest fifth wheels you can really even find on the market in the main marketplace today, Cougar Sport 2100 RK. It's like 26 feet and change long. It is a very short tip to tail fifth wheel. It is not exceptionally heavy. I do, generally speaking, still pretty much recommend a 3/4 ton truck due to the hitch weights on these. There are theoretically some really capable heavy duty payload half-ton packages that could maybe handle this one. But anyway, what are we looking at? It is small, but they give us campside windows. You have direct facing seating so that like the dinette and the sofa are right across from one another. That guy needs a new muffler. He definitely doesn't have a catalytic converter on that thing. Anyway, you've also got TV straight across from the theater seat, albeit mounted rather high. Awesome kitchen on this. Kitchen just occupies the entire rear wall, plus there's huge pantry storage beside the dining. Upstairs, you still have some nice upper deck height on this one. There's room for a true queen bed, although it is still coming with a camp queen from the factory. I'd love to see that change, but it hasn't happened yet. With a big bonus closet in the bedroom. The amount of storage in this little camper is actually really awesome. They're still doing their awesome Cougar weather package on this for that extended season kind of comfort. They still do their 220 watt solar package. They've improved on that versus last year, and this little thing is great if you're going to do some double towing, because this is short and it does come with a 3,000 pound towing hitch package on the back. So they have packed a lot of dynamite into this little package right here, but sometimes its small size is its greatest liability. Like, I'll rip this Band-Aid off right away. You will lose the bedroom and bathroom when the slide closed. I know that's a big deal for some folks, so I hope you appreciate how we respect you and your time, and we just mentioned that right off the bat. Now, my train of thought went off the tracks. Forget it. Let's go. So from the driver's seat, or I suppose the theater seat would actually be more literally accurate, this is what you're looking at right here. If you are sitting inside, this is your view, which is nice because you have some campsite window coverage, which is kind of hard to find sometimes. And it's a very social seating arrangement. Like, this is a classic floor plan. Fifth wheels have had a floor plan like this somewhere in the RV world since way before I ever joined this industry. Probably as soon as fifth wheels started having slides or whatever, I bet you started seeing this layout come out. I'm not a big fan of the knee knocker pedestal tables, although thankfully there's just a couple screws and that could be swapped out. That wouldn't be the end of the world right there. And it's awesome that it's direct facing. It is up a little bit high though, and that is something to maybe kind of consider. It would be nice if it had some kind of drop down bracket. Now the window looks small, but if you look a little bit more closely, you can actually see where it does have like a little privacy shade kind of built into it there. And they've tweaked around their decor a little bit since last year. Overall, I kind of like it. It just looks sharper, more high contrast and cleaner to me. And I love that just full rear wall kitchen counter and just tons and tons of storage that you have here. Now, it is true that when you have a lot of storage behind the axles like this, it does bounce around more. But consider, this is not a 45-foot Montana rear kitchen fifth wheel. This is a short, small, light little Cougar. There's not a lot of this RV hanging out past the axles. So does it get some bounce back here? Certainly, yes. Is it the end of the world? I don't personally think so. And I'm staring you down at the floor, going slow not to make you motion sick, because they've swapped away from that marine flooring in their slides and gone to like something that matches the main floor, which is my personal preferred way of doing it. It just looks cleaner to me. But Keystone has, they have consciously kind of gone a little bit shorter on their carpetless flaps, so that when that slides closed, it doesn't bunch up into anything and get like kind of wrinkled and crinkled on the end. But as a result, sometimes it kind of looks like it's sort of floating over here. Now, I think I called this wrong last year, and I won't claim to get everything right, but if you notice right here, this is a tri-fold sleeper sofa, which is cool. And I think last year I mentioned that a theater seat was available. I don't believe that's actually a factory option on these, and part of that is for cost control. Not specifically because like a theater seat costs so much more than a hide-a-bed. It does cost a little bit more, but simply by having options within a manufacturer's lineup, just the mere presence of those options, even if they're not expressed on an RV, increases the cost of that RV. That's something that we've learned here as we've expanded on our Go Play RVs that, you know, that are exclusive to us here at Bish's RV. And this Sport Series is built from the ground up to give you all the smart, important features of a Cougar RV without all the big heavy-duty budget of a normal Cougar RV. That's what these kind of exist here for. Now, when I peeled everything apart, you might have noticed there is storage below the dinette here. And again, there's no table and chairs option. This is like cookie-cutter production, basically. There's really only about one option. We're going to talk about that when we get up into the bedroom. You notice I didn't open the other side of the bench, though. That's because, you know, that's a shoe garage, basically. And that is such a low-budget, smart, awesome way of doing things. I love it when manufacturers do little stuff like that. It costs basically nothing, and the value of it, what I get as an owner, to me is fantastic. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting. You have your slide awning and light switch by the door, but like your tank monitors and everything are over here. I don't know that it's a problem. I just thought it was interesting that they split them on this model right here. Now, that is a full medicine cabinet, by the way, as we move up here into the bathroom. It's just at a really bad angle for me to try to give you any kind of good looks to it. Decent bathroom counter space here as well. Also decent, the space around the toilet. Actually, for as small as this RV is, this bathroom is a monster. Like, there's great space around it. The shower is nice and tall. As we'll see after we get up here, I want you to get to see that hanging towel bar. I love that they included that. They didn't just go super cutthroat budgety on it. But if you notice, beginning in that footage right there that you're seeing, my feet were on the main deck of the RV. But you see when I step over into the shower, it doesn't magically shrink on me because you don't have to step up into the shower of one of these. Again, though, being just brutal about it, the bathroom is lacking for a little bit of linen storage. Really, about the only significant storage that you have here in the bathroom is down here, which it's nice that they have drawers, spot for a little wastebasket, something like that. But I don't know that I'm going to be stuffing my bathroom towels down in a drawer. That's just not, I think, going to happen. Now, it does have a mini ankle breaker step of death. It's not the biggest, like the 9-inch ones that you used to see, but that's because there's a structural crossbeam member right there. Anything that is walkable is carpetless. Yes, you can see a little bit of carpet up there, but it's not really a walkable space. And again, from the factory, these are currently shipping with a short queen mattress. I will tell you, it is the definition of a flimsy backbreaker death wafer kind of bed. Chances are you'll be replacing it anyway, and I do think that there's room there to put a true queen if you're interested. I mentioned there's really only about one option, and that's the second air conditioner. These are all 50 amp. You can slap a second air up in there if you are so inclined. Something else, though, that's kind of cool. They are still inverter prepping these even here on their Sport Series. So like a lot of the outlets, like both outlets beside the bed, some of the outlets in the kitchen, the outlets for the TVs, you see those yellow stickers on them. That is telling you that those are wired to the potential inverter loop. And they're still including some household and USB plugs on both sides of the bed. Looks like we got a USB Type A and Type C in that mix right there. Now, cracking open all the bedroom storage, it's cool that there's a cabinet above the bed. Not my favorite that it lacks any kind of like strut or holdback or anything, but something that is kind of nice is the fact that the bed is easy lift. And across from the bed, there's a huge section of dresser and closet storage, although you may have noticed no washer-dryer hookups in there. Sometimes when you see this bedroom arrangement or that closet arrangement from a manufacturer, it'll have like a little combo washer-dryer hookup. This does not have that, so kind of keep that in mind. You have to start getting into some of the bigger, heavier, basically more expensive Cougar-y kind of things. And I don't know, laying in the bed, giving you, the point of view of laying in bed. If you looked over, that's kind of what you're seeing right there. Just, I don't know if it tells you anything, just thought you'd like to see it. Overall, I think that there's some really cool things on this RV, but something that might about to be an instant deal breaker for somebody is the road mode travel access on this one. Because let's get this right out of the way. The upper deck is lost unless you're going to yeet your wife over the slide fascia, fellas. You close the slide on this one. When you have a big slide in a small space, you just lose the upper deck. Thankfully, if you notice, They did locate the fuse panel so that the slide doesn't block it. A lot of builders of this layout have made that mistake. So let's say, God forbid, you blow the slide fuse, you can still open this thing up. People will sometimes ask, though, why don't they just put the hallway on the other side? Well, you can't. You can't just flip this one around unless you want to add about 2 or 3 feet to it. But that's kind of the point of this floor plan. It's only 26 foot and change tip to tail. The goal of this one is to keep it as small as light as possible, which makes it great for towing. It just doesn't always make it great for travel stops. The one doesn't always go with the other, although it would be nice for sure. So while it's not travel stayover friendly, you hop in the door, you got your sink, your refrigerator, and the fact that your dining is not over here in a slide actually makes it really good for travel stops. So, you know, it still provides some benefit in that way. Why can't I talk? And once again, I do apologize. We're right next to the road here, right on a main corner. And we're going to hear some vehicles in the background. Apologies for that. I'll do my best to kind of keep it minimized, but I can't really control that. I think, once again, the weight and the length, the size of this RV are some of its greatest qualities. It is not a big, giant fifth wheel where you need some mega monster machine to tow it. Like, if you got a good 3/4 ton gasser, I personally think that would make an awesome pairing for something like this. I forget to show the front compartment on a lot of these fifth wheels, so I want to make sure I got in here. You can see your spare tire. The batteries are, well, no longer included, standard from the factory. But it does still come with that nice big battery box where you could slap a couple in there. You've got your Gigi box, which is a glorified battery disconnect on steroids. So it's glorified and on steroids. That's a double whammy of good news right there. What it's doing is it prevents all parasitic load off your batteries while it's disconnected. A lot of RV battery disconnects don't actually fully disconnect the battery. That one does. And there's an additional disconnect up in there specifically for the solar panel on the RV. So if you don't have a battery on it, like right now, and you have it just out in the sun for storage or something like that, it doesn't cause the charge controller to kind of like go crazy and melt down. Now, for no bigger than this RV is, they crush the awning space. The patio awning space on this is absolutely fantastic. The pass-through compartment on this, for no bigger than the fifth wheel, is also very nicely done, very respectable. And we get another look at some of those inverter prepped outlets over there next to your TV hookups on the left. Although it does look like you'll have to keep the baggage door totally open to utilize that. I'm not a super fan of furnace and water heater exhaust. Is the way that it is, so to speak. Working our way back here past the awning, down below you've got your power rear stabilizers, because that's one of the major differences between the sports and the rest of the kitty cat Cougars. These do not have automatic leveling. They have no option for automatic leveling. They have power front leveling jacks, and then these just come down to kiss the ground to stabilize. So it's still push button easy. Go sneeze. Oh my gosh, pardon me. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Hopefully I remember to edit that out. If I did not, apologies again. We've also got a stinky slinky sewer hose tube back here, and the underbelly has basically all the same treatments that the bigger cat Cougars have to give you that nice, comfy, extended season capability. Off the back, you see that receiver hitch there. Very cool that they still included their full, like, I guess call it towing package on this little guy right here. Because especially if you're gonna do doubles towing, a lot of states have length restrictions. And hooks in the 4-way wiring harness down there. Handy even if you're just gonna put like a little cargo pod on the back. But a piece of not awesome news. This is a 2-headed sewer monster. Just at the back of that slide is your kitchen gray tank outlet. Now thankfully the pull handle is not under the slide so you can get to it, and the actual blade valve itself, the gate valve, is enclosed inside the underbelly. Kind of similar to what you have up here in this docking station with your bathroom black and gray. So when you read the capacities on this one, the gray water reads kind of sort of like artificially high because it actually has 2 separate gray tanks on it. Now there is a plug in that compartment there for a portable side mount solar prep plug, but you are still getting 220 watts of factory solar up top, and that's another enhancement in this 24 generation the 23s did not have. The 23s had a 15 amp controller and a 200 watt panel, and that was it. These are a 220 watt panel and a 30 amp controller. So the factory doesn't offer expansions on this, but you or we could easily expand on that, at least slapping a second panel on, maybe a little bit more. Probably just a second one though. And you may have noticed how I left these compartments open over here. One of those is that you could see the 30-pound propane bottles. When you start getting these smaller fifth wheels and these budget fifth wheels, manufacturers have a way of cutting cost in corners where you don't always see them or think to look for them. A lot of them will come with 20-pound bottles. They're easier to exchange on a Sunday, but these 30s, I think, are what most people expect to find on a fifth wheel, and it's cool to see the Cougar doesn't scale down from everything else when they go to these here. I wouldn't blame them for doing it, they just don't. Thanks again for tuning in. While you're checking the links in the video description for pricing and availability, something I want to mention is when these Cougar Sports came out, they took right off. They're super, super popular. Cougar's cousin, Arcadia, now has their version of this called an Arcadia Select. It is nearly identical. It's not exactly, but boy is it close. So if we're sold out of one, check our website for the other. We may have some more opportunities for you, some more things in stock. And until next time, thanks again for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.